Hi, I'm Patricia O'Connell, Management Editor of BusinessWeek.com. I'm joined here today with two guests, Karen Bankston, Senior VP of Cincinnati's Drake Center, and Elena Love, a columnist for BusinessWeek.com and author of The Purpose-Linked Organization. Welcome, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Karen, if you could just briefly talk a little bit about some of the challenges that you found your organization facing when you took over about a little more than 4 years ago.
Well, we really had a huge financial challenge that we were faced with, along with some issues around the culture of the organization, lack of accountability, and just a whole notion of not trusting one another. And that becomes very important when we talk about taking care of patients and taking care of one another. So the work really was that we were faced with was really helping people to learn how to work together, and really were we going to be able to ensure that the organization was going to be able to be sustained into the future, both from a financial perspective as well from being excellent in the work that we did on a daily basis.
Okay, so how do we get from there to passion, which is where Elena comes in? So,
well, you know, when we talk about taking care of people and we talk about taking care of patients, and you have to look at it from the perspective of being able to take care of yourself. And I'm a firm believer in that one is unable to do that if they are not bringing their whole self to work. And so when I went into the organization, I took with me a team of highly capable individuals. However, we were faced with some pretty significant challenges, and I needed to not only know what kinds of competencies they had from the perspective of being able to count the dollars, if you will, or put in the processes. I really wanted to know what other things that they had so that we could look at how we were going to change the culture of the organization so that we could move forward. And so I wanted them to be able to bring their whole selves to work so that we would be able to really utilize them to the best of their ability.
okay, so Elena, can you talk a little bit about the kind of work you did with Karen and her team to make it possible for, as she says, for people to bring their whole selves to work, which is a concept that I think I just love.
Well, Karen's team and Karen's organization is a classic example of a large-scale cultural transformation using passion as a lever to make it happen. What we actually did was go in and begin by working with the senior leadership team. In most experiences that I've had, if you want to orchestrate change, you really have to start at the top of the organization, and Karen certainly was committed to doing that with her team. So we began by working with them, doing passion profiler work, and doing what we call our Leading with Purpose process, which is really looking at a number of things: the passions the individuals in the organization carry, the jobs that they're in, and then the strategic objectives that the organization is up against. And we figure out how to align all of that. So we have people working in roles that are aligned with their skills and their values and what is being asked of them every day. And we call that working in the purpose nexus. That's their performance zone. When they're able to align the roles that you ask them to play with that zone, that's where productivity really goes up, where the energy gets infused into the organization, and where you start seeing people really showing up and bringing all that they are to what they do.
So, Karen, if you can just maybe wrap up by telling us, you said you started working with Elena, I think, about a year ago.
That's correct.
What changes have you seen in your team and the culture at the Drake Center because of, getting people in line with their passions and purpose and values?
Well, one of the things I had to do was that I was able now to really look at why some of the work that I needed to get done wasn't getting done. And it was that I did not have individuals aligned with the work that they were really good at. So I made some of those changes so that I had the people who were really good at being very creative in those roles where that creativity could really be experienced. But most importantly, what I really am now seeing are people feeling good about the work that they're doing. What we're seeing is the productivity has gone up. What we're seeing are people being more accountable for their work. And that has transitioned in us being able to have a positive bottom line, which, our operating margin is good, has transitioned into our ability to see our patient satisfaction scores go up almost 10 points. So we know that by creating an environment where people are feeling more accountable to the work that they do and to each other, because now they are really working through their passion that they have, that we are creating a culture that will ensure that Drake Center will be viable into the future. So we're feeling pretty good about where we're at. We're not done. You know, it's a journey. But I'm feeling very good about where we're at in the use of this process, if you will, and really looking at our purpose and what we're there for.
Well, Karen and Elena, thank you for bringing your whole selves to Business Week video today.
Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you so much.